a lot of people don't know a lot of things are affected because our hormones are imbalanced. So it's more than just the hot flashes, it's more than just the mood swings or whatever. It is so much more.
Welcome to Rooted and Rising, where we focus on becoming whole through the mind, body, and spirit together. My name is Lamisa, and my guest today is Dr. Letesha Butler, the owner of Newsom Fitness Gym and a personal trainer. Welcome to.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming on, Dr. Butler. What originally inspired you to pursue a career in fitness?
Well, I was active duty Air Force. During the end of my career, I was a little overweight and I would struggle with the fitness test. So I needed something to keep me focused because I would work out enough to pass the fitness test. And as soon as the fitness test was over, I forgot everything and stopped doing everything. So it was a cycle I had to go through every 3 to 6 months to try to get past this test. And I got tired of that cycle. So I needed to find something to keep me focused. So I decided to train for a bodybuilding competition. And through that process, I learned that I actually like working out. I actually like fitness. So I kind of stuck with it. And then once I stuck with it, other people that I worked with would start asking me to help them with their fitness tests. So then I decided, well, maybe I should become a trainer, a certified trainer. So I got certified. So then I started training people for their fitness tests, like before work, on my lunch break, and then after work. Mind you, I was still training myself to do competitions and I was still working. So it just became a bit much to be overwhelmed. So I was like, I have to give something up. So since I was in the military over 20 years, I figured I would retire and just go into fitness full time. And here we are.
What moment made you feel this was more than just a job for you?
Well, when people kept asking me to help them, and then when I would help them and they would see results, then I was like, oh, I guess I really can do this.
What was something you learned when you were training for bodybuilding competitions?
So what I learned through that, diet plays a big role. Because even with the fitness test with the military, I would run like so then I started getting into marathons. So I would run 10 miles every other day, but I would eat whatever I wanted. But I'm running 10 miles, so that's almost how many calories you can burn, about 100 calories per mile. So if I'm running 10 miles, nothing that I ate was gonna matter. So I just ate whatever I wanted, and then once I stopped doing the marathons, I was still eating like I had been eating, and I gained 40 pounds. So that's when I learned. So then when I started doing the bodybuilding and my diets got, I had coaches and stuff, and the diets was real strict. That's when I learned it's mainly diet. So that's what I learned. And then with bodybuilding, we work out, we diet and stuff, but it's still, that's a very unhealthy sport. I love it, don't get me wrong, but you have to know when to start and when to stop, when to eat regularly, when to eat for the competition. So eating pretty much does everything. It's all about nutrition.
What is an example where you want to cut, and what is an example when you want to bulk during your bodybuilding training?
So typically, you'll find the show. So a safe, healthy way is you need to find the show at least 6 months out to be able to do a diet in a healthy manner. Because the shorter the time you have, the more extreme things you have to do. But so I would say when you're looking doing a bodybuilding, you got to start looking out 6 months. So then, depending on where your body is at that point, determines what you're going to have to do. So when we bulk up, we're not just eating anything. You're still eating healthy, but it's just going to be a lot more to help build your muscle mass. And then once you get, so typically when I'm competing, once I get about 8 weeks out, then the drastic cut. So we're cutting out carbs are really low carbs. You're eating a lot of lean protein. So like your chicken and your fish. So a lot of seafood is what you'll start eating with the cutting. And then you'll start slowly cutting like your carbs and certain vegetables. When you going to cut your calories and stuff. So typically I would start about 8 weeks out for the cutting portion. So women need to be a healthy is really between 20 and 23%. But with me, I haven't competed in a few years, but once I start competing, I want to be close to, I try to be about 15% when I start. So then once I get on stage, if I can get to about 10%, but not too much less than 10%, because it also depends on what category you're in. It's going to determine how much body fat. But once women hit under 10%, then we start going into other issues like your menstrual cycle can stop, and you'll start having other things happen once we lose too much body fat. That's just for women, not for men, because we need body fat because we have to have babies and stuff like that. So we need a little more body fat than men. So for women, we shouldn't go below 10%. So like for me, for the competitions, I try not to go below maybe 7 or 8% because now we're getting unhealthy and I have to do so much to try to gain the body fat back in a healthy manner.
What if wellness wasn't just about your body, but about your whole life feeling good? The 2026 Wellness Powered by You digital planner is designed to empower every part of you with weekly insight, questions that guide your inner growth, and reflection space to help you honor your journey. True wellness means a calm environment too. In your new 2026 planner, you'll find quarterly prompts for closet clean out, home deep cleans, and car maintenance checklists to keep your space as clear as your mind. This is wellness powered by you. Be organized, be intentional, and leave 2026 a different person than you entered. Get your 2026 planner now at the link below. How has your own fitness journey shaped the way you empower others through training?
It's women can see me, so they can see when I've gained weight, when I lose weight. So it's like I'm a real person. So I'm not one of these influencers that's young and always thin. No, you see me go through the changes, and I'm very, very transparent. Like right now, I've lost probably about 30 pounds this year, but I had gained 50 pounds over the last 2 years. And I'm very open about it. I'll show, talk about it or whatever, but just to see, I go through this too. I get it. I struggle just like everybody else. So although I have the education, the knowledge, and I understand it, I still experience this, and you can see it. You can see my weight go up and down all the time.
And how has your fitness journey evolved since starting your own gym?
So when I first started, my goal was just to work with people that wanted to get fit. Well, then I had to start specializing. So then I decided I love strength training. So I love resistance training. I love the weights. I love the muscles and stuff like that. So that's the area I wanted to go in. So then as I turned 40, I was still competing, but it was getting harder and harder for me to lose weight. And I couldn't figure out what was going on because I'm still following the same diet. I'm still doing the same workout plan, but it's like me and my coach, we would have to get so extreme for me to lose weight. And I'm like, what is going on? So I had a young male trainer, and he pretty much told me that he don't know how to help older women. Although I didn't think 40 was older, so I had to start doing my research. So that's when I learned about the menopausal stages, and I learned that I was in perimenopause. So then, because of that, then I had to start researching what is perimenopause. So then I went back to school to get my Ph.D. to learn more about this. So what that now I take all the information about menopause transition in the stages to help other women because a lot of people don't know a lot of things are affected because our hormones are imbalanced. So it's more than just the hot flashes. It's more than just the mood swings or whatever. It is so much more. So I take all of that information now and I educate.
What values guide your approach to helping clients feel stronger?
I feel with my approach, so everything is science based. So it's not like I'm just going off the newest trends. So I research everything. Um, so I'm able to help with at a different level than other people. And then I'm specializing just in the menopausal area. So I have a little more expertise than just a general personal trainer.
What are two things you learned about menopause you didn't know before doing your research?
So a few years ago, I was having issues with my hair. It was just breaking off. I couldn't figure out why. And it was just so I ended up cutting it all off. And then I learned it's estrogen. Estrogen can dry out when we reduce our estrogen is reduced. It can dry out our hair, so it messes with the hair follicles. So my hair was breaking off, and I didn't know why. I was actually blaming my beautician that she didn't know what she was doing. So
We do that.
so that was something that was surprising that it affected my hair the way it did. And then the second thing would probably just be, it's so many things. So like sleep. I would wake up and just like my bonnet and stuff would be soaked, and I didn't know what was going on. So then I had to learn about the night sweats and things like that. So it's just all the sim. So and then it's not a, if you hit then you're in perimenopause. Everybody's experience is different. So no, everyone doesn't have the same symptoms. And yeah, so that was, the hair was a major thing, and then the night sweats was a major thing. And then another thing is probably brain fog. I could be driving somewhere knowing where I'm going, but I guess I was just going somewhere else. I'm like, this wasn't the road I was supposed to take. How did I get over here? So yeah, and I forget things in the middle of a sentence.
So tell us a little bit what you have been doing on your social media page about menopause.
So this all started in October. So October is actually Global Menopausal Awareness Month, and we don't really recognize it here in the US. Other countries we do. So a lot of my research comes from other countries. I have to see what are they doing in the UK, what are they doing in Australia, because they're not doing it here. So that's when I learned about Menopause Awareness Month. So because of Menopause Awareness Month, I wanted to post videos every week just about something on menopause. So then at the end of October, I went back to look at, the stats and stuff, and I was like, well, maybe I should continue. So I actually put a poll out there and asked, is this something people still want to hear? Because I enjoy doing it, but it's very time consuming. So, and I don't mind doing it if people are going to listen and it's going to be helpful. So the feedback that I got back was to keep doing it. So with that, I just kept doing it, so that each week I just do a new topic, something that has to do with menopause and things that we probably didn't know that was associated with menopause.
Okay. What common misconceptions do you see around menopause and exercise?
With menopause and exercise, because I think most people think that it's more like the hot flashes and the mood swings. They don't know how exercising can help, but resistance training is very, very important for menopausal women. It's important for everybody, but with menopausal women, it's because we lose our muscle mass at such a faster rate because our estrogen has been reduced. So typically you'll lose, so when you turn 30, you're going to peak at your muscle mass, so you should have like all the muscles you can have at like 30. But and then it starts declining. So it typically declines 3 to 8%, no, 3 to 5% per decade.
You deserve a break, and we have the answer. It's the Feed Your Soul Wellness Retreat in Hot Springs, Arkansas, April 29th through May 3rd, 2026. We've designed this retreat for you to unplug, detox, reconnect, and restore the mind, body, and soul. With a guided excursions and designated free time, you will head back home rested, connected, and redirected, giving you the energy you need to make the best of 2026. Click the link below. We can't wait to retreat with you.
With women, as our estrogen reduces, we can lose up to 10%. So once we lose our muscle mass and then our bone density is reduced, then we're at more of a risk for falling. So then if we're at more of a risk of falling, then we get more of a risk for fracture. So women have a lot of fracture, like hip fractures and stuff like that, because when we fall. So with the exercising, the resistance training is going to help you maintain the muscle mass. It's going to help your bone health. But it also, I teach or coach with balancing activity exercises. So it's harder to fall if you know how to balance yourself. So we do balancing exercises also.
What role do strength training, mobility, and recovery play in supporting women during premenopause and menopause?
So with the recovery and
Mobility.
mobility. So with that, like I said, it's going to help you with the fall, because we're going to be more, once we lose our muscle mass, we're going to be more at a risk to fall. So this will just help. You'll have the strength to not fall for your balance and stuff like that.
How do you adapt training programs for women experiencing symptoms like fatigue, joint pain, or changes in body composition?
It's still the same. It's pretty much with the resistance training. All of that's going to work together. As you build your muscle mass, it's going to help you with all of those things.
And how often do you suggest that people do strength training?
So everyone should do it at least twice a week. So that is the minimum. That's the standard. You should do it twice a week. So what I say, it depends on your goal and your timeline. If you have a certain timeline that you want to do something, then you're going to have to do it more than twice a week. But a minimum should be twice a week. And
And
that's working every muscle group, not just one. So if you do it twice a week, the split should probably be like an upper body, lower body, or a push pull. So push is when you're pushing the weight away from you, and pull would be pulling it towards you. So those are two good splits to do for if you're just going to do 2 days.
what are additional symptoms besides hot sweats during premenopause and menopause that people don't know?
All right. So real quick. So can I go over the stages of menopause real quick?
Yes.
So now, there's actually 4 stages a woman will go through typically in life. So we got your premenopause, we got perimenopause, we got menopause, and we got postmenopause. So with the premenopause, those are women who haven't hit menopause yet. So those are like when a young lady has her first menstrual cycle and she's able to have babies. So that's premenopause. And then once you turn close to about 40, you'll hit perimenopause. That's when you'll have most of your symptoms. So that's because your hormones are starting to fluctuate. So it can be estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. It can all be normal, like maybe in the morning, and by the time you get to noon, they drop. By the time you get to the evening, they might come back up. So because of that, everything is going haywire in our body. So some of the symptoms, I think most of your symptoms you'll start to see in perimenopause. Menopause is just a time. It's just a time you have not had a menstrual cycle for 12 months. So typically you're in perimenopause or you're in postmenopause. So a lot of the symptoms you'll have in perimenopause, but then you'll start having some in postmenopause. So in perimenopause, that's when you'll start seeing like the hot flashes, the night sweat, brain fog. So brain fog is more like all of your cognitive stuff. So forgetfulness is your attention, your you get irritated very, very, very easily. Um what else comes with perimenopause? The cognitive. So we have the brain fog, which is the forgetfulness, and then your attention. You can't pay it. Your attention span is kind of shortened, so you don't pay attention as much. Your processing speed slows down, so it takes longer to understand and comprehend stuff like that. That's something I didn't really realize. And then outside of that, you have your emotional stuff. So it's very unstable. So you can be happy, then you can be sad, you can be depressed, you can be angry. All of these in one day, in 1 hour, whatever, whatever. So that's something, just trying to get your emotions. There's sexual things, so you can lose your decrease your libido, so you don't want to be bothered. You have vaginal dryness, you got irritation. So all of those things come with perimenopause and our estrogen being reduced. So I guess the one that sticks out the most for me is the brain fog, the forgetfulness, things like that. So, and then outside of the cognitive, you have hair. Like I said, I didn't know about the hair thing. Your skin. So your skin gets dry. So there's all kind of other things that goes along with it.
Help women build confidence and maintain motivation when these hormonal changes make progress feel challenging.
Well, I think the first thing we have to do is I have a checklist and it goes through all of the common symptoms. So we'll go through because a lot of people won't understand that what you're experiencing is because your hormones are imbalanced. So let's look at what are you really experiencing and what is being caused by estrogen. So I think once you know and understand, that's already going to empower you to know that you're not crazy, you're not alone, and it's a normal thing. So that right there is going to help. So let's just talk about what your symptoms are. And I can probably assure you you're not the only one. So that's comfort right there, knowing that you're not the only one. So let's talk about them. And then weight gain does come with your hormones being imbalanced. And that's because as our estrogen starts to decline, it kind of manages our weight. So when our estrogen is reduced, it's no longer managing it. So sometimes it redistributes our fat. So it takes it from our butt and our hips and put it to our stomach. So sometimes you may see women that look small or whatever, but they have a bigger belly. It's called the correct term is called central obesity. The slang or term is menopause belly. They don't talk about it a lot in this country, but it's a big thing, like in the UK, Australia, stuff like that. But and the thing is, here in the United States, if you meet the markers when you go to your doctor, they're gonna most likely ignore what you're saying. So if you come in and your BMI is low, your weight is low, but clearly you got a big belly, and you're saying I need help with this, they kind of dismiss you because you're meeting all of their guidelines. But clearly something. So that's another thing. So letting women know that this is something that does happen, but you can counteract it with exercise and diet. So like I said, so I think with the confidence, first, let's recognize what the problem is and how it, and let you know why it's being caused. So you're not alone, you're not isolated, and then what we can do. So the resistance training is going to help you with your bone and your muscle mass, but it's also once you see the weight, that's going to help your confidence too. So I think just understanding what it is and what you can do about it, that's going to give you the confidence and empower you to make a change.
All righty then. So, how can women advocate for themselves better when going through menopause?
So now that's a big one. So for me, like I said, when I hit 40, I was going through perimenopause and I didn't know it. So I was going to the doctors trying to figure out what was going on. I was being dismissed because at that time I was still competing too. So if you look at me, you don't have no weight problem. But I mean, I'm still bigger than what I was last time I was on stage and I know what I'm doing, So I got dismissed a lot because I was considered fit. But I'm like, something is going on. So it took me probably 6 years to find a doctor to listen to me. And then once we went over all the symptoms, then they put me on hormone therapy. And that made a world of difference for me. Then the weight started coming off a lot easier at that point. So once going to the doctor. So I think you have to, what I would recommend is if you're having these symptoms, track them, so it's not like it happened one time, two times. Have something you can show them. No, this is happening at this time. And then you can start asking about, well, what about hormone replacement? The only thing with hormone replacement and the resistance from doctor when you're in perimenopause is because our hormones fluctuate. So depending on when they do the labs, it may look normal. So that's another pushback you get. But you have to stay persistent and keep advocating for yourself. Get a second opinion. Ask about the hormone therapy. Ask what other options, are there for you and stuff like that. So, but you have to stay on them because you will get dismissed if you don't.
So, what is hormone therapy? Is it a pill? Is it some type of
So
training?
the hormone replacement therapy, it comes in a lot of different forms. So, and I've tried several different forms so I can find my formula. And that's another thing you'll have to, it's trial and error, because everybody is different. So in the beginning, I tried a pellet. So a pellet, they actually do like insert it in like your butt or your hip area. And it's combined with, they do labs and it's supposed to be combined with estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone all in one. And some people love it. Um, I didn't love it. So I had to try other things. So I actually take those three medications separately. So like I have estrogen, an estrogen patch that I wear. I have a testosterone cream that I have to put on, and I take a progesterone pill. So it's really going to find what works for you. But the three main hormones are going to be estrogen, testosterone, and progesterone.
Okay. And what is one piece of advice you can give to someone going through menopause and is determined to keep their health and well being a priority?
So resistance training. That's going to be number one in diet. So we need to eat a lot of like omega-3 fatty acids. We need to eat a lot of antioxidants stuff. So like berries and stuff like that. Anti-inflammation food. So like kale and stuff like that. So a lot of whole foods we need to eat. You need to find a protein source. So one thing that I didn't know about when I started hitting perimenopause, my taste buds changed. So I used to eat meat. I don't care for meat anymore. I will eat it at least once a day because I know I need some kind of protein. But you can find protein supplements. But finding the right diet, so a lot of whole foods and stuff like that.
Okay. So, how can the audience get in contact with Dr. Butler?
So, as far as social media, on all the social media platforms, is you can either look for Letesha Butler or Newsom Fitness. So that's LinkedIn. social, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I'm on there too. TikTok, I do a lot of workout videos. I don't talk much, just a lot of videos. Um, so that's why I found my gym is actually located in Universal City on Pat Booker in Coronado. I'm here. So yeah, so those are the ways to contact me.
Thank you so much. You have truly enlightened me on menopause. And even though I have known you for 7 years, did not know all this information about you. But thank you, and you have a wonderful day.
All right, thank you, you too. Thanks for having me.